To hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love. Risk the fall, oh, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light. Hearing voices from afar, join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light. Can we bring to fall the giants? 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 We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime and know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order.
Welcome back, everybody. Week 2, day 4 of SLE Black Lotus Esports versus Slim Odds. And today with me, I am Desan. I'm being joined by God of Hacks himself. How you doing, man?
Doing very, very good actually. It's been a long day at work, all that, but now we're here, SLE time. I can't be more excited to be honest. I feel like we're gonna have a really tight matchup today. How do you feel?
Well, we were talking about this a little bit before, before we went live, and we did have some differing opinions. In my eyes, I feel like it should be an easy 2-0 for Slim Odds, but you don't exactly agree with me.
No, I think it's at least gonna be 1-1. And I would not be surprised if BLE takes it actually. But I have
The,
not seen any game from SlimOdds. So I have no intel on SlimOdds. They have not been streamed yet, have they? Or have they? I might
I
have
don't
missed it.
I don't believe so.
Because I have seen BLE, and I mean I didn't watch the full show match, but against Wacker Race Y, they looked pretty decent. And I don't know if SlimOdds is that much better than Wacker Race Y.
I mean, in my eyes, it's more so with the importance of mid lane and with how important it is as a role. I feel like when you look at the sort of team of Slim Odds, you have Ginny on the mid lane, a very proficient Talia player. Talia being very good at the moment. Same thing with the Swain. So I wouldn't be surprised to see either of those champions either taken or banned away. But Talia has seen a lot of play lately.
Talia's really good. Yeah, Talia's seen a lot of play. It's also been played a lot in pro play, I think so. And it's a very flexible pick. I mean, you can put it into the jungle if you get a bad matchup, so you don't even have to be scared to pick it early.
Yeah, and I mean it does help that Azir is like really played right now, which Talia is really good into being able to stop the dash. So
Yeah, that's
definitely
fair.
can see why she is being played. And overall, why? So okay, you expect a 1-1, but do you think it's gonna be Black Lotus who take game one, or how do you think game one is gonna go?
I don't think Billy will take game. And I mean, it depends on draft, I would say. I would have to see the draft to really give an opinion on game one. But I would say they take game two if they take a game.
Ooh, fair enough. I mean, yeah,
They,
BLE.
it's just like if you look at the show match, they lost the game one. And then they stabilized the other two games. So maybe they're slow starters. I don't know. But I mean, they also did win 2-0 in the other game that they played in the league. So
So essentially what you're saying is BLE is coin flip as hell. That's what I'm hearing.
they won 2-1 and 2-0. I don't think that's coin flip, no.
Well, fair enough.
I think
Fair
it's
enough.
unfair to say coin flip, but I don't know. They probably have some weaknesses. I haven't looked in detail at the show match. Most probably, they have an early game weakness, I would assume. As you mentioned, mid is like really important, and yeah, no, I would assume they have a good team play from what I saw, but worse laning.
Yeah,
So if they're able to
definitely
abuse
so.
that and get an early lead, yeah, SlimOdds could probably roll over them. But I mean, we've also seen many teams that can secure an early lead, but not manage to transition in the mid game. Mid game, generally a harder place to transition. We saw yesterday, Quantify got a lead in both games. They even won, I would say, losing lane matchups, and they still lost the game to Vitagen.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I feel like yesterday, I don't want to talk a little bit about the Quantify Villager matchup just because I feel like it was, in my opinion, some of the most or more important games Villager is gonna end up playing. I feel like after the difficulties they've had and how much they have struggled so far with the start of Split 5, it was really important for them to do well. And I feel like they did okay for the most part, but personally, I so far haven't been that impressed with Vitagen, and I'm definitely gonna be looking at them as more of a middle of the pack team than anything else.
Yeah, I could kind of agree on that. I think they play really well in all phases of the game except the early game. And if they can shape up early game, I think they're a pretty good team. I would say they're higher than mid class by that point. But then they have to shape up their early game. The early game did look shaky, and that's very rough to come back to, even if you're a good mid game to late game team.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I mean, in my opinion, I feel like there's a lot of teams in SLE who and to essentially struggle with the early game. I feel like a lot of teams in SLE have a much stronger mid to late game than they do early game, which is, in my opinion, kind of funny because you'd think that most of the teams would focus on the early game, considering it's like what's generally gets the ball rolling. But at least for me, it does seem to be the early game that a lot of teams do struggle with.
I think one reason that is maybe a lot of the teams. If you're like a group of people that you've known for a long time, you tend to have better mid to late game because you have the same idea of what to do. So the movement on the map will be better. But maybe you're not playing as much. You have weaker laning, so you lose the early game. I think that's like a kind of typical, depending on why the team is constructed. And I think the teams who are really, really sharp in early game are probably teams who, how do you say, are more competitive and really work to get good in the league.
Yeah, definitely. So, and one of the teams that I feel like have seen or have shown the most promise have been Greasy Goblins, in my opinion. They are one of, if not the strongest team, alongside Blazing Pandas heading into more of these matchups. But now that we're finally in way and
Oh
under
man, they
draft
are. Oh, they're going hard here. They're fast banding,
already,
man.
yeah. What's
Oh,
this?
they got the read on that. I mean, we do see the Swain ban you mentioned actually, so that's coming in real fast. They're banning
Yeah.
a Kali actually, so they're respecting here on the mid. They're sending the Cassiopeia. I have no idea actually. These bans are wild right now. I mean, the Nocturne did get played in the other game from SlimOdds, and it was quite powerful if I looked at the stats at least. So that's one thing, but Cassiopeia is actually a pick BLE played, so I'm not sure about that one.
Akali as well not having the highest win rate so far, and I was about to say Jarvan is still open, and Jarvan tends to be pretty good nowadays. So the Narban as well seems to be fairly obvious, at least for the side of SlimOdds. It is something that Missing Link does play a lot and is one of his best champions, I would argue. So definitely good to see that they've taken that off the table as well.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I agree. Jarvan first pick is a solid pick, and we actually see Sivir really early. I don't know if I'm too excited about that. Don't know if he's gonna lock it in though. Early Sivir feels like it's very easy to pick a strong bot lane into, and they don't lock it in actually.
Interesting, because like you said, things like Kaisa is still open, things like Caitlyn is still open, who has seen a bit of a rise in play. They do pick it alongside the Makai, but Jarvan is a really good pick into the Sivir. You can cataclysm the Sivir and she has realistically no escape, so that pick doesn't entirely make sense to me, but we'll see if SlimOdds can sort of draft their way around the Sivir and see what support they end up picking up.
Yeah, and I mean, BLE still has to make the appropriate punishment here for the Sivir, and they should be picking a bot, and Nautilus is a good champion, but nothing. You can't really put pressure down on a Sivir in lane. If they spell shield the hook, you end up in this awkward middle of the road where they can trade onto you. There's no way they're picking Yumi here. There's no way they're picking Yumi here. You send the Duin B mid Nautilus, they're going back a few seasons? No, they're gonna lock in Zaya.
Should be the Zaya coming through. Zaya, a very good champion at the moment. A very, has a lot of self-healing, a lot of defensive capabilities as well. Potential Blitzcrank core. I do expect the Braum so far. And interestingly enough, after yesterday, we looked at a bit of the stats behind the screen, and Braum has only lost 2 of the games he's been in so far. So one of the highest win rate champions when it comes to SLE so far.
I can't relate as my Braum is like 2-7 in Celtic. But yeah, Braum's a good champ. I don't know how good it is against Jarvan specifically, but against Sai you can block the feathers, keep them from going behind, if I recall. So strong pick against Sai in lane for sure. Also strong later in team fights. So
that Sivir still bugs me kind of.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like they could have just taken Maokai Braum and they would have been happier in the first round. Maokai Braum is just a very solid. You can go into Kog'Maw, you can go into anything almost. You can go to Ashe. Ashe was still open, I believe. Yeah, Ashe is still open, which I also don't understand why they didn't take that instead. They could have taken Ashe Maokai, Ashe Braum.
Yeah, Ashe was open, Zaya was open, Nautilus was open. A lot of, I feel like, picks that are better blinded than the Sivir. This could also be this AD carry on the side of SlimOdds being very confident on the Sivir. It is among the top 5 of his most played champions, but Sivir to me as a champion is someone similar to Jinx, where there isn't that much outside of the spell shield mechanically that you can sort of be good at. Sivir is not the champion that sort of sits there for 30 minutes, wave clears, and just gets her items and just scales really well into the late game. So I don't exactly see how being that proficient on Sivir would be sort of an advantage that lets you pick her early, but already seeing a lot of top lane bans coming up from Black Lotus.
Kind of interesting. I mean, both top laners have actually played Olaf in their other games, so I'm interested to see that SlimOdds actually banning it. I think the Banner X had a 15-2 game in the other series. So take
There's
it away from
Italia.
himself. So there's Italia. I mean, you predicted the draft pretty much perfectly, I would say, except for the Sivir from SLM, I would say.
My bad, I didn't see they would pick the silver first pick on me.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be shocked to see a Sivir here. Syndra here makes sense. She's played it before in this Team BLE. They have played it mid. And I don't know much else about Missing Link. I have not had time to look at the OPGGs today. All I know is he played more than Olaf, I believe, in the other series. I don't think he should pick more here, though.
Yeah, I feel like Syndra would be a solid pick into the Talia scales really well alongside the Zaya can do some early plays as well. I was about to say Ivern is still open. It is something they hovered and teased a little bit earlier. How it works with the rest of the comp of BLE, I'm not entirely sure, but I wouldn't be that surprised to see it lock in, but they might just settle for the Ornn instead.
I think the Ornn is better. I mean, Ivern is more of a comp where you would like to sit back, and I mean, they already have Nautilus Jarvan, which really want to go in and go deep, so Ivern would not fit into that composition. And they do lock in the Ornn.
I'm not surprised, you know?
No, it
Ornn
makes
being
a lot
one
of
of the most played champions in SLE as well, so...
And it's quite a safe pick. I would not have been shocked to see them pick a Renekton either to really safe out the top lane, but feeling comfortable on Ornn, also historically a relatively safe pick. K'Sante is open though, and I don't play top nowadays, so I don't know if there's a specific counter pick. Maybe they could slam the Fiora. Oh, the Darius. Ooh, they lock it in. Nice!
That's definitely one of them. Like...
Oh yeah, so they're feeling confident on the side of SlimOdds.
Yeah, definitely. So the
Darius.
couple of champions I was expecting from Benarex was the Aatrox or the Darius. He is quite a proficient Jace player as well, but this should be an exciting top lane with the Darius being up there.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense if you say it's a proficient Darius Aatrox Jace player, because both Jace Aatrox, really doing the homework, banned away in the second rotation, and then it defaults back to Darius.
Yeah, and Darius being good into Ornn as well in the early game, not really being able to contest the Darius, at least when it comes to sort of push and such, because you do just tend to get sort of ran down if he does pop that ghost, and that should also you to death with those stacks. So definitely a good pickup on the side of SlimOdds.
Yeah. Who do you think going into the game now? I mean, I know you already did that 2-0 prediction, but just based on draft here, who would you say has won the draft outside of winning the game here?
So I know I had a 2-0 prediction, but
You want to go back on it? The Sivir scaring you?
I think the comp of Black Lotus is scaring me a little bit compared to SlimOdds. I feel like there is just, yes, there are things that you can do on the side of SlimOdds, like you said earlier, can block the Sire Feathers, with that Braum, Talia being really good at the moment in the meta as well, can sort of do damage to the Jarvan if he does end up flying and dragging in. But on the flip side, I feel like Black Lotus Esports just have so much raw damage coming out. You have a Syndra, you have a Zaya, alongside Jarvan, who is really, really good right now. Sivir, no way out of that Cataclysm if you do end up getting ulted. So I know I said 2-0, but you know, it is looking a little bit Black Lotus favored, I will be honest, but how do you feel?
I feel similar. I feel like BLE's comp is more of a all their champs have the same idea of what they want to do. Their comp really fits together as a whole. Like for SlimOdds, Talia is good, but they don't really have the setup. Like for Talia to get the shove, it's quite hard. So you want Nautilus, you want like a hard engaged CC support. Nautilus would be really good on the SlimOdds side because then you set up the Talia. But they don't really have any good hard setup unless you count Maokai W. That would be the one, or Maokai ult. And I feel like that's not really the type of thing you want to pair with Talia, because she doesn't really go into the team fight. It's more like a pick type thing for me. And then the Darius wants to go in, and the Sivir wants to go. Well, Sivir pairs pretty well with Darius. It's just the lack of CC for Talia, I feel like, is not that good for me. But yeah, I think BLE overall, I think the comp Synergize is better as a whole.
So I'm hearing a BLA side.
That's it,
what I
BLE
heard.
will take this if they play it, yeah.
Ooh, okay, fair. I mean, you predicted a 2-0 for BLE, right?
Yeah,
know
I
you
mean,
predicted
I think it's
1-1.
1-1 if you make a fair prediction, but I think this game BLE should take if they play it well. I'll predict BLE here.
All right, fair enough. And I mean, generally, we do see, at least this is obviously only 2 games, but generally in like best of 3 series, it does tend to be favored towards the team who win the first game just because momentum and mentality it is a word that gets thrown out a lot in League, more often so in CSGO and Valorant, but League as well, where especially in long series, best of 5, best of 3s, once you win the first game, mental wise, you are ahead of the competition, and sometimes situations like that are really, really difficult to come back from. Obviously, it is only 2 games, so it shouldn't be that rough if you lose the first game, but definitely I can see that taking an effect, especially in this sort of lower tier teams that I feel like we have in front of us today.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely like around the mid. They want to separate themselves from the pack right now, right? They're like both 2-0. They both play like kind of mid to low-ish teams. And I think whoever wins here wants to, like, you know, grow up. They're going to get a good team in the next SLE League match. And there they have the chance to really show that they're a high tier team. And I mean, both teams want to prove themselves. I don't know. I feel, how do you say? Like the way the teams are set up, the 2 top laners, because the scariest thing right now would be like Darius snowballing out of this map, right? Snowballing out of this world, Ghost Flash, he can easily run over a team almost on his own. But actually, I think the strongest, or one of the strongest players on DLE is the top laner, so I think he will be able to hold it down. So that's why I think DLE will actually have this.
Yeah, that's fair enough as well, and this is, like you said, first time Black Lotus is going to be playing. In week 2, SlimOdds earlier did have a game against Primordials in week 1, did end up going 2-0, I do believe, so definitely gonna be time for Black Lotus to see what they can do and show us what they can do, because I feel like, in my opinion, when it comes to like teams debuting on stream, I feel like their first game says a lot. Obviously, some team can hold their nerves better than some others. It can be a nervous situation when you're playing like on stream for the first time, especially once the split has actually started. In show matches, it was kind of whatever, you know, since it's a show match, so it didn't really matter. But now these games actually matter, so definitely gonna be, I feel like, good to see. It's gonna tell us a lot about Black Lotus, how they can sort of hold it down when it comes to games that are on stream.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, also as you mentioned, Game 2 will be interesting because the thing that happens, I think, in League, where it's momentum-based, I mentioned earlier, I think it depends on how you lose, because if you have like a draft idea, you go into it, and then they do something completely different than what you expected, that's kind of hard to come back from, because it's hard during a series to identify what went wrong, like what was the wrong idea, because League is more complex in a sense than, I would say, Valorant and CSGO, in that there are more champions, more matchups, more abilities. So to identify all the bans, identify all the picks, what actually went wrong in game, you don't have time to do that in between series or like in between games. So that makes it harder if you lose and you don't really understand why.
Yeah, definitely. So, and obviously, this is something that coaches do sort of aid to. If you do have one, they are the people that can have a more objective view on the game, and I feel like it is a lot easier to have an objective view on the game if you're not playing in it, because obviously we are humans. We all have emotions and such, which can sort of play into things, especially in the heat of the moment. Like you said it yourself, it is very difficult to sort of identify what went wrong during a series, and I feel like that's sort of half what you want to be looking into, but sort of you also half want to move on into the next game, which is why people tend to try to not think about game number 1, at least when it comes to like best of 3s, best of 2s. So definitely gonna be, like you said, interesting to see how the losing team of this first game is gonna be able to bounce back. But like we said, we do both favor the Black Lotus Esports draft, so it's time for SlimOdds to show us what they can do, even if they are in the back for the draft.
Yeah, it's time they show up and they show us that Sivir Braum is actually the best lane we've ever seen. First picking Sivir is the new meta. Man, I think it's the new meta. It's the new meta. Maybe yes. I wonder though. I think there's been a thing, right, where you pick shred build Airy, which could be really well with the Darius. You do Airy and like a armor shred build. I wonder if he's gonna go for that. I think it's a bit stronger also in the early game.
I feel like I'm getting flashbacks to an SLE game.
Yeah, one Jin team. I think
yeah.
I think it's Team Chef that did it. If I remember.
Yeah, right. They done like Black Cleaver, Serpent Fang, Sivir.
Yeah.
And everyone was just sitting there looking at going, huh, with Airy, but they also won the game, I do believe so, you know?
I mean, I think that's a really very real thing. And I mean, especially if you think about comps that roll like Iron Lulu, going Serpent's Fang and Black Cleaver, it makes total sense. You remove all the shields.
Oh, definitely so. But I'm glad that the time of Enchanter support is over. I'm glad that people are picking things like the Nautilus, Alistar, Rel, Braum instead, because watching, I remember back in the day when it was Janna Lulu every game, when like Enchanter items were really OP, you just pick Kog'Maw and Ezreal,
You mean
and bot
Ardent
lane would just
Sensor?
be, I mean, yeah, and bot lane
Don't
would
take
just
me
be
back.
sitting there, you know.
Don't take me back. Don't take me back. Most
Bot lane
depressing
just sitting
worlds.
there.
Oh, and they're going in though. Missing
Ooh.
Link. He's chilling. Is he gonna flash W on Maokai?
Nah.
Nah, he's respecting it. They just get the word down. They are playing it good and safe, SlimOdds.
I
Jarvan
would
spots them
love
going out as
to.
well.
I would love to see Fabian here go to Sword or Blue go to Sword to the bot side of SlimOdds here, but not gonna be opting into it as they're just gonna be bin chilling down towards the bot lane. You see Jarvan starting on the bot side as well, which does make sense to me. Might be able to abuse the early Braum if Panarex does choose to play aggressive on the other side. It's gonna be the Maokai pathing towards that bot lane.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that early ward. Getting deep vision at least on one of the camps early is it's not the end of the world, but it's quite nice for your laners that they know where it is. It helps a lot in like just making those early trades happen. And I mean, you have Saya Nautilus, they really want to go for it, and Syndra as well. So knowing where Maokai is would be very beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. So we could also see an early gank down towards that bot lane. Oxy could look for a 3 camp, potential level 2. There's a lot of setup in this bot lane. You do have the Nautilus, like you already said, Zaya potential Feathers route as well. So
Ooh.
definitely a lot of play around.
Missing Link with that auto attack. No fear in this Darius matchup. Gets the grasp as well. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of interesting. Junglers have two different ideas, unless Maokai goes for the level 3 gank, but I don't think that makes any sense, judging by the wave position here. And I think Jarvan is probably going to want to look mid and path top and see if he can pressure the Darius. And with Maokai being bot side, it might be a bit risky for the Darius.
Could be. Now this is where you go top lane, you level 3 dive the Ornn.
Jarvan is
Look
already on the
at
blue, but they have a ward on it. They know this is happening. Are they even able to contest it though? He's almost killed it.
Ooh,
Bot lane is moving right now in
this
Tali.
is-
It's very scary right now for Oxyconny. Does he know they're there? He does not know. This is gonna be a disaster for Oxyconny, I think. Flash, no EQ, he's very dead, and Fabian should not go in here.
Ooh, Fabian could be in trouble as well. Does get sort of
He's
hyped
out.
up. He's fine. And like you said, a little bit of a risky invade coming out from Oxy. He knew for a fact that there was sort of prior on a lot of the lanes on the side of SlimOdds. We had Talia prior, we had bot lane, be able to move first as well, having that push on the Sivir, which means that he just ends up getting caught out very early on into the game. Now, looking at who picked up the kill, Gina definitely on the Talia is someone you want to give early kills to. Like we said earlier, is very strong right now and can be very strong in the meta if she does get an early lead. But you see,
With the hook almost
Oh.
hitting there. They can spell shield it though, so it should not be scared. I don't know if he used it earlier. That hook is actually quite risky for Fabian because he can get pulled under tower.
I feel like he's glad they didn't hit that one. But
Yeah, I
like,
feel like you should be glad. It's one of
like,
those, you see the ADC, you're like, I can hit this hook, and you're just like, I just gotta go for it. It's like the Lee Sin syndrome, but on hook champs, it's like, I can see hook, I take it. And he's invading again. Oxyconny does not care. He's not scared. That gank on the blue was not a mistake. It was a calculated investment.
calculated investment, and you can already see,
You can
he's
actually
up
get the
on
wrap here on
CS.
mid. I didn't
I
go
would,
for it.
I would expect a mid gank.
Maybe. QE. On
Dragon
Syndra?
Drag.
No. I want the QE from Cinder to set it up, but maybe not having it up there from Gluminox.
Yeah, not being able to get the scatter down means there's no gank to be had. And Oxy already playing this matchup so aggressive, like you said, invaded twice. First one didn't work out. This one definitely to steal away some of the KFC from the side of SlimOdds, and you see the gank on the mid lane from SlimOdds this time around. Does get
Indeed.
spotted out. It's gonna
Spotted
be
out. It's gonna be negated. I think I like that pressure though for Brady D. I mean, it makes sense. Genie with the double buffs, they haven't timed yet, I don't think. Could be, but I mean, he should have an edge in this lane with double buffs being picked up. And if they can secure even more gold, the first base from him could be very big.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm not entirely sure about the pick on the skin when it comes to the Zaya, but I can definitely respect it. I do feel like there are better ones out there, but you see Oxy moving his way down towards that bot lane. They might look for an early Drake here.
They're starting a dragon. I mean, Talia is in base, and I think this is actually a relatively safe dragon. I mean, Sivir has no mana.
should be free.
Yeah, it should be free. It should be free. I don't think this is any issue.
I mean,
Just
two
a solid
people in
macro
there.
play out of BLE, and I think it's also that I'm not sure, but they could have spotted Maokai top. He was fishing for the gank, and if they spot Maokai top, going for the dragon just makes total sense.
Yeah, definitely. So, and you can already see this top lane pretty much going the way I feel like both of us did expect with the Darius Ornn matchup. Ornn a little bit down on CS, which is very understandable, into someone that is as lane dominant as Darius is. You can see a good control word out of Brady, knowing how aggressive Oxy's been playing. It's a good adaptation to see, because instead of control wording the enemy jungle, you control word your own jungle, hoping that Oxy might run into it again and seeing if you can catch him again on that invade, which he has been doing a couple of times now.
It's kind of, I would like to see SLM get a bit more proactive. Like looking purely at scaling, I don't think BLE are any slouches when it comes to the scaling. Ornn, Saya, and I think they have better tools to force the fights in late game. So I really would like to see Ginny try to get mid prior, get the roam, and try and get a wall, preferably bot lane to accelerate. Because I feel like the Darius, as you said, he will probably accelerate on his own just fine.
Yeah, definitely so, but I also feel like we haven't really seen wave management on the side of SlimOdds that allows Brady to gank. Oftentimes it has been a little bit
They
of
gotta
a...
fight the top lane. Let's try to trade aggressively here. I don't think that will happen much, but I mean, you're taking that damage from passive.
Yeah.
Really showing why Darius can dominate any and all tanks here. Jarvan is moving up though, but this gank is spooky because Maokai is on the top side, and I think if they counter, the 2v2 is instantly lost with Darius. Or against Darius, so to say.
Yeah, especially with the chunk that Missing Link took earlier. It's not a 2v2 you want to look for, but going back to my earlier point, I feel like there hasn't been that many opportunities for Brady to gank, because we have a dredge line
They
on
hit
bot
the
lane.
hook. I don't think it's gonna happen anything, but it could be bad for Fabian going right into the Braum passive. Has to flash out actually. Get the Q general decoy, picking it up. Yeah, it's very
my
tough for a
God.
Nautilus. I mean, Braum is a very good pick against Nautilus because you just get the Braum passive for free, and getting hooked does not care. You don't care as a Braum. You just press E and you're slamming down on the Nautilus.
Definitely so, and that's what we were talking about earlier, right? Like when you hook on Nautilus, sometimes you just get turned on. When it's
That would
hard, it's things like the Braum.
Yeah, that would be like the thing is that would be on the Sivir, but in this lane he has no good hooks because you have the Braum, you get passive, you have the Sivir, you get spell shield and end up like in the middle where you can't hit anyone. So
Yeah.
there's no good way for Nautilus to progress in this lane. He should never be looking for the fight in the lane. He really wants to go roam instead or do something proactive on other places of the map. A good place would be the Talia since there's no ability. Well, the fight going down here. Gloomnex still has the ulti.
Ooh.
Talia going shove hits, and I think this is death. This is death. Ginny picking up an easy solo bolo. And Oxyconny can't find any tempo here in this game. It's just a bit too late to all of these fights, and Rift Herald's also gonna go over now.
Solo Bolo in the mid lane. This is... We have a Darius, we have a Xayah Nautilus. This is the one lane I expected not to have any kills through. It's a Talia Syndra matchup. And somehow Ginny ends up winning a solo Bolo in the mid lane 8 minutes into the game, 2-0 already on the Talia. And that was a very, very good snipe on the bot lane that earlier play out of general decoy with that Winter's Bite, and already showing what he can do on the Braum.
Yeah, SlimOdds showing they're very solid. I mean, they haven't done anything special. Essentially, they've just been punishing the plays coming out of BLE, and if this keeps up, it might be a bit scary. Like going behind. I mean, I think BLE scales well, but if you go behind in gold, it doesn't really matter, and you're gonna have a Darius running you down soon if you don't handle it.
Yeah, I feel like I would like to see Brady do a bit more. He does already have one assist, like you said earlier, has been doing a little bit of things around the map, but already hitting that level 6, which means that now that he has that Nature's Grasp unlocked, should be able to do a little bit more around the map, but you can see he's eyeing that bot side on the side of Black Lotus.
Yeah, and Talia's moving as well, although she will probably just be ward in the bush, but they could be going for a 4-man. They don't know
Dragon coming up
Oxyconn
as
is here.
well.
Syndra's moving as well. This will be a 4v4 down the bot lane. Ornn could TP to make it 4v5. There's no TP. Oh, that's a hook right there! Going down instantly on Stoosh. I feel like Ornn should be TPing in right now, and there it goes. Cataclysm going down onto the Talia. Nautilus is deep, might go down, but Ornhorn going in. The shutdown gets great Ornn ulti. 2 passives. Will they be able to clean up Maokai? They will. Oh, they dive for him to get the hook. Fabian. Really showing why he picked the Nautilus.
4 kills for the side of Black Lotus, and what a hook to start
Beautiful.
things off. Beautiful dredge line coming out from
I think she
Fabian, looking
missed.
at the replay.
He misses the
As
spell
well.
shield here. I don't think he expects to get hit here. He thinks he's behind the Braum, but he barely edges it out. Very good hook coming out of Fabian there, showing he does not care, Sivir or not, he will get it. Then
Good
that shot
death
follow up,
charge.
and they're
Yeah.
4v5, no way to win it. I like the TP from Missing Link, just safing up the play.
It's just general decoy just sidestepped the hook when Stush expected him to sort of just tank it for him, which is why he didn't expect a spell shield, why he didn't expect that he doesn't need it. And with those 4 kills picked up, Black Lotus should be able to pick themselves up some tempo alongside them, but looks like the tempo is on the side of SlimOdds as they're looking for the Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, I feel like they should have been taking this dragon maybe before going base, because they had 4 kills, no TP on Darius. Oh, he's going for the steal, but that's not gonna end well for him. Oxycon is 100% gonna be going down, no flash, Gore Drinker, Gloomrix trying to help, but there's no way to get Jarvan out of there. But yeah, like you mentioned, they did get 4 kills bot side, and they had 5 people there. They should have cleaned the dragon. I'm not sure if the dragon could have been not up right when they were going for it, so again, unlucky spawn, very possible. When Rift Herald going in now, I don't think they're gonna get the power though, just the plates for Sivir here.
Yeah, I think it should be just not plate picked up. I think...
He's going for the hook in this situation. It's a bit eager, but he's gonna get out, no problem. And Fabian,
it's fine.
I like it though, showing no fear. Nautilus, you gotta have like a little bit of a screw loose, you could say. Like you gotta be able to just kind of go in and die for your team in a sense. So I like that he's going for these hooks.
Aren't you a fellow Nautilus player yourself?
I am definitely a fellow Nautilus player.
Interesting. And I think it's good to see that Fabian is being proactive, although being proactive in situations that don't necessarily warrant it. And I think going back to the earlier dragon, I'm pretty sure it might have been 20 seconds, 15 seconds off the respawn when they finished up that fight. So like you said, just an unlucky timer for the side of Black Lotus, which does mean that SlimOdds get themselves an Ocean Drake, and it looks like it's gonna be Cloud Soul, which is not as good for these teams as you'd like to say. Sivir can use that very well, Darius can use it very well as the Braum, but outside of that, not really a lot of users for it. Zaya as well, alongside the Jarvan, but not the ideal soul I feel like you're gonna be looking for.
Yeah, it's not really any stats, but I mean, I think it's pretty darn good on both teams. Maokai, I don't know, I think there's a lot of them that could use this. Not sure. Syndra is decent, and Nautilus is decent, and Ornn. The rest is kind of so-so.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
there's a lot
not
of
really
times.
the best, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where you look at the soul when it's Cloud Soul, and you just look at neither team can use this. But this is one of those situations where I feel like both teams don't. It's not one of those that'll win you the game, but it's one of those that you don't mind.
They're looking to
having
the
a
wrap
full
here on
buffer.
Jinni, and he's already TP'd. No flash. Is that charge up? He should just slam the depth charge right here. Slam the ulti. Oh, he's hooking on Oxyconny. BMing a little bit. I like it.
Going a little
Like
bit
to
wide.
see. Oh, and
Hold on.
might be a bit of a fight down here. He's taking 2 tower shots. Gets the passive. Q, W. He's out there with Ghost. Too hard to catch. Too hard to kill. Darius.
Double splash, you know.
Man, it's
very
kind of
mobile.
good though. He's gonna get pressure in top lane, but there's no one with him, and Maokai is actually on top side. So if he tries to push the advantage here in top, he might get punished by Brady D.
Yeah, we're gonna just think better of it. It's gonna hit the base, and so far the gold lead is towards SlimOdds, although it is very slight, only in the 400 gold. And you see both mid laners picked up mythics, both junglers have items, both AD carries have items. So all around for both teams, these first items are starting to come through, and very similar on both sides. You see Kraken on both sides, you see Leandris on both sides. Very similar itemization when it comes to these two teams.
Yeah, we're satisfying all the pedantics out there. Very symmetrical, neat, and tidy. And I do like that, typically on Syndra actually you go Ludens, but I kind of like the Leandris pickup in this game as they have kind of free tanks in Darius, Maokai, and Braum. So typically a Ludens is better, but I kind of like the pickup. And he also can't get onto the Sivir anyway, due to spell shield. It's a bit too tough for a Syndra to walk up, so I kind of like the Leandris pickup here on the Syndra. Ooh, and they get stun. Oxyconny, EQ, drag flag coming in. Does get the Cataclysm? No.
Cataclysm was there, but you're not in range. Brady on the top side.
I'm getting Link's just brawling everyone who comes into this top side. This is his territory and he does not care anymore. In my house. Oh, and he's going in the mid! EQ flash from Gloomyux. What a synergy between the mid and jungler here. And they're just more proactive, BLE. They haven't
a
done any
brawl.
wall yet.
Like, it's just a brawl between Black
Exactly.
Lotus. They're hunting. Like you said it yourself, Missing Link is making sure the house stays put, closing the door firmly on anyone who tries to enter. He wants no car salesman, he wants no warranties to be heard of, but this could be a gank on the bot lane.
Ooh, does he have the Orn? No, it's off cool, not cooler yet. No Orn ult. With Orn ult, you could possibly catch the Sivir there, even for Spell Shield. She does have Ghost Flash up, so I don't have to they've timed the summoners. So then she would get out, but getting Ghost or Flash would be good there anyway for the Orn ult. And Dragon is about to come up 4 seconds, and Darius is not there, so they should be conceding this to the side of BLE.
I feel like, yeah, but I'm not sure you want to use the Call of the Forge God right before Dragon spawns, just because you could be expecting a big fight. But like you said, with Banner X in the top lane, I expect for this to go towards Black Lotus, picking themselves up a second Dragon of the game, which puts them 2 more Dragons away from that glorious soul.
It might be a very conscious play coming out of SLM though. Like you said, Cloud's not the best, and accelerating your Darius could be one of your strongest win conditions in this position.
Yeah, definitely so. Ooh, General Decoy.
On this action down here, both junglers, but no ADC right now. Saya is walking out of base and TP is coming in. This will get a bit scary for the side of BLE. TP is coming in again. That TP is almost deep. Spell Shield gets the ulti. Looking a bit janky. Call the Forge God. Darius is not here. This should be a victory for the side of BLE. They're walking in right now. Ulti coming down on the Talia. Sidris is walking up. No fear. Talia can't get much damage down. Cataclysm goes down. Stoosh goes down. Will they clean up the Sivir? They will. Smited down by Oxykoni.
Another teamfight win for Black Lotus Esports, and even with the late TP, I feel like from Gloomy, still end up taking the teamfight for themselves. Another 4 kills picked up, and Dragon unfortunately not going to their side as well, means that they're just 2 more Dragons away. And with Banner X picking up nothing but a little bit of CS towards the top side, as we take a look at the replay, you can see
It's
the TP just comes through.
He gets the auto actually. I don't know how he gets the. It looks very strange how he gets the auto
Interesting
there.
interaction. Very
Yeah, I don't know how he
interesting
gets it because then he can get the spell shield off and the ulti, and then yeah, the cataclysm. I mean, this fight overall, it's just the play comes in from the side of SLM, but they don't have the Darius. The play just feels a bit half-hearted in a sense. They don't wall. There's no Talia wall. There's no setup. And they just try to go for the kind of desperate bot play. I would really like to see them really link up the Darius. He has all his summoners. He should be trying to use them in a team fight, going hard with the Talia wall, just trapping everyone and having Darius eat them up. Free breakfast. It's much better. And then after that, he can go pressure the top side. Because then he doesn't have his summoner.
I feel like it's just SlimOdds are making plays that the team comp can't necessarily cash in. They don't have the damage when it comes to the team comp of SlimOdds compared to Black Lotus, who already have that Xayah on one item out damaging the Sivir, that Leandris on the Syndra as well, doing a lot of damage in this fight. Gore Drinker on Oxy for the moment, and if this game keeps going like this, I can see Black Lotus Esports running away with it, but so far the gold is still relatively even, so the lead...
Even Fabian might get caught here. Maokai coming in. Saya's rooted as well. Death Charge coming into the ADC is good. Feathers are out. He's waiting for the big pull. He's kind of low. He's gonna die. No pull! No pull on the Feather, and this is looking kind of bad for BLE, but Jarvan is actually broken. He's trying to go in, almost killing the Maokai. They actually don't even trade back here onto the Jarvan. That's surprising to me, actually. They do lack a lot of damage, like you say, in these fights. Like, that Jarvan should not be getting out free, and Gloomy is just chunking Banner X here. I feel like he just wants to ghost and flash on her. No E right now on Syndra. I would be going in as a Darius, but I guess he's respecting the fact that BLE's team could be there.
Yeah, I think he's just a little bit scared, but it's still a 2-for-1 for the side of SlimOdds. You do still take those, and with the gold lead being a little bit closer now after the team fight, as we take a look back at it, it was a good start from General Decoy and manages to actually block the route as well, but Blue just, like you said, not getting the ability to pull the feathers back, and a good snipe from Tush as well. And I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't get more kills here, to be honest. General Decoy and both Brady are a little bit low, but I guess with the damage coming out of Jinny, it is very hard to play that fight, especially when you're in the Cataclysm. You sort of trap yourself into a very tight space, which Talia does like to play around. So definitely good to see that SlimOdds end up striking back, and the gold is dead even at the moment.
It's very even right now. I would like to see more of that type of play, but combined with Italia, and preferably also having the Darius at least close or on the rotation down to the fight. He's just been sitting top lane all game, and I don't know if he's probably building Hull Breaker, it looks like. He's not ever gonna join, but I don't feel like he's that scary in the side lane. If you're a Syndra, like, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to sit on the tower, but I think you'll be able to contain a Darius. Ooh, Fabian trying to look for the hook here. X flashing on the wall, but there's not gonna be anything.
Yeah, good try there from Black Lotus Esports. You thought it was the Hull Breaker? Joke's on you, it's the Sterak's.
But that's good. I prefer that over the... Oh, here we go. The Malcolm's coming in, and Darius here is what I want to see right here. Darius going in. 2-item spike. He's about to get the reset onto Fabian here. And if he does, this might be a disaster. He's going to go on to the flash. Goes, boom. It's resetting in the backline. Darius City is coming in. And this is the one where they lose.
Oh my god, Bannerak's more like LeBron James with the way he's dunking out here. That was beautiful. A great flash into the backline and just gets all the squishy. Should be a Baron picked up for the side of SlimOdds. And take a look back at the replay. This was all Bannerak's. Like you said, needs to get the Darius down here for these team fights. That's exactly what they did. Fabian doing his best to block the route there coming out of the Maokai, but just look at the flash out of Bannerak's. Gets the reset onto Fabian, but the flash forward is so good.
Is disgusting.
The entire team of Black Lotus Esports just falls completely at the back end of that.
And this, if they keep doing this, I see SlimOdds winning this in a handy manner, because they just have to play around the summoners of their Darius. There's not a good way for the side of BLE to really stop him. Like, at this point, he's very accelerated. He's 100 CS up. He's about to go into the Flame Horizon. He's gonna be very tanky and hard to kill, even if they try to focus him down with Syndra, with Sion.
Yeah, definitely so. And I'm very glad, like you said earlier, that he opted into the Sterak's instead of the Hull Breaker, because splitting is not the way you win this game. You win this game by bringing the Darius with you and just having him completely dunk on everybody in the team fight, like we saw earlier. And with that Sterak's, should be a lot more tankier in these fights as well. And with that big team fight win from SlimOdds, gold lead currently at 5,000 for them. And I would expect, if we can quickly take a look at the gold as well, I would expect for most of that to be, like we said, in the top lane, and 3,000 gold lead out there, definitely in the top lane.
Yeah, he's quite a monster right now. And that's also the thing, because he's already so big. He doesn't really need the Hull Breaker. Oxyconn is going to come in for the gank. I don't know if they can actually... He's no summoners, so Cataclysm will lock him down. So Gloomnex's going to have free reign here. They actually are going to clean him up, and the Leandris pick up on Syndra really doing work, but he does get the reset onto the Jarvan.
Oh my god.
This is looking a bit scary. No summoners though. Gets the guaranteed Q on the shutdown. That's 800 gold going to Gloomnex's wave. But they're counter-engaging in the mid lane. Doss coming down, and Saya. I couldn't see the start of that, but that's exactly what I want to see. And they have Baron. They're going to take this inhib very fast right now. Punishing the play in the bot side very handily here from the side of SlimOdds.
So much gold, like you said, into the pocket of Gloomy. That's...
Oh, they're not going. They're going for the top. I kind of would have liked to see them go for it, but this is a safer play, and they will convert more gold in the sense. Not giving the inhib over. It's still 24 minutes, so I feel like they could have tried for it, but...
I feel like they could have gone for an inhib tower. I feel like taking the inhib at the moment with Dragon being 3 minutes out, Baron being 3 minutes out is, like you said, a little bit wasteful from the side of SlimOdds, but could have gone for the inhib tower. But I feel like it is a lot of gold into the pocket of Gloomy, and with him picking up the Shadow Flame as well, this Syndra is going to be doing a lot of damage. And you were talking earlier about potential answers to the Darius, potential answers to Bannerak's, and Gloomy could be the shining light, the guardian angel that the side of BLE need to sort of kill that Darius, but still gonna be a lot harder when it comes to these later stages of the game, because he's gonna pick up some magic resist, he's gonna pick up some more items, they're gonna become tankier and tankier.
I feel like the real problem in this team for BLE will be they have to somehow bait out the summoners of the Darius to if he has all summoners up, I think it's really hard if he plays the Darius properly. And like you said, he seems to be a very apt Darius, he's playing it comfortably all game. I think he will know how to find the flank, and then there's no way to stall him out. There's no real, like, how do you say, shove back, except for Syndra. And if you use it, he's just gonna go Ghost Flash and go in anyway. It's not really enough to keep him away.
Yeah.
However, if they manage to bait the Ghost to Flash, he has no way, like, Cataclysm will basically zone him out. So I feel like it really depends on how they can play around this Darius and try to avoid him getting the full engage when the Mark ult comes out. Because then he's probably gonna pre-pop Ghost, trying to go in. And if they can stall that out, they have good chances of winning it.
Yeah, but I mean, Flash is only on a 5-minute cooldown, right? So it just means that they have to avoid team fighting. They have to lose one team fight and then team fight like all the time for the next 5 minutes, and then just wait again. But so
Yeah,
far,
but that's the objective timer, so then you lose all the objectives. So they have to find a way to force him either in the side lane, preferably, would be the best, like the way Oxyconn did now. But I feel like
Yeah.
that's just way too scary.
It's risky though.
It's very risky. I mean, he died this time, he had no summoners.
Yeah, like what if he had Flash, right? What
And
if
he
had
probably
both?
kills both of them.
Yeah, like it's just so scary going up against Bannerex right now. Speaking
Oh,
of
they're
him
looking
getting
for
more
the
tanky,
pick, though. They don't have the vision here.
nah.
Fabian... Yeah, but Fabian with the hook, they could just insta-burst him possibly, but it's their X, though. And he also has Cowl now.
Yeah, he's getting more tankier and tankier. Spectral's Cowl picked up, but you see...
I feel like
Oh,
Billy
this is
is
scary.
almost a bit lost here also, but they're controlling the... Oh, he's ghosting. He's about to ghost, I feel like. That Syndra is hella dead. No, a Malkild actually timed out. Goblin in the middle of nothing. Oh, Ornold coming in, but blocked by the Braum. Perfect execution. Sias 100% dead. You know, gets the root. Oh, he's going in for the reset. It's a disaster, but good knock-up from missing Link, and he's actually taking damage. But there's just 5 people on Gloomix right now, and that's the end of him. Yeah, this Darius is a huge problem.
He's pretty much unstoppable at this point, and like you said it yourself, and before that team fight began, it just felt like Black Lotus Esports were a little bit all over the place, a little bit disjointed, and they could just look for the game here actually on some
They're probably gonna take the game here. It's 14 seconds on the timer, and I would not be surprised he's gonna go in for the towers here. And there's no way missing Link can put any pressure on them anyway to stop them from going. They can just hit towers and completely ignore him. It does not matter.
The solo Ornn defense not gonna be enough. SlimOdds are gonna be taking game number 1 with the back of Bannerex on that Darius, and what a performance from Bannerex. 7-on-1 on the Darius, and really just showing what he can do if he has that strong matchup and that winning matchup towards the top side.
Yeah, it seems they don't have enough bans for this man. He took 2, he doesn't care. Maybe they're gonna give him more this time around. Yeah, Darius one of these champions where he did have the counter. I don't know if that's gonna play into the next game. I don't think it will. But it's hard to play around, especially with the summoners. And you really have to be on point with baiting them out. Otherwise, it's just too good in a sense. Like the summoners gives Darius everything he lacks, but only for a short time period. And if you kite that out, then he's back to being a much worse champion. But Bannerex finding the timing and winning the game for his team essentially.
Pretty much, yeah, and I mean, it was a story of top lane, but I feel like Gloomy as well played pretty well that game on the Syndra. Did get solo kill in the mid lane pretty early on into the game, but ignoring that and outside of that, I feel like it was a pretty good showing as well. But who would you give your MVP of the game to? I'm assuming it is gonna be the Darius, but
I mean, it 100% has to be Bannerex. I think without him as, like, say, X factor, I think the game gets way tougher for the side of SLM.
yeah, definitely. So, and had a couple of good flash plays as well into the back line, and we'll see if what they end up doing with the Darius in game number 2. We'll see whether Bannerex doesn't get his Darius again, whether it does get taken away, or whether they are gonna find a potential range top response into it. Range top laners at the moment aren't the most ones in favor. Things like the Quinn would be a good answer to the Darius. I'm not sure if the side of Black Lotus Esports does play it. I'm pretty sure they don't. But we'll see what they end up coming back with in game number 2. So we're going to go into a short little break here and get our things set up for this game number 2. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be right back. welcome back everybody to game number 2 between Black Lotus Esports and SlimOdds, and already in game number 1, throwing my prediction out the window with SlimOdds taking game 1 and Hacks. It was an exciting game, but a topside favorite one.
It's I still have faith in my BLE squad. I still have faith they can take a win here. Like you said, your prediction was right and wrong. I mean, you predicted wrong on the draft and right in the pregame. 2-0 SLM might still come through.
Yeah, definitely so. And do you expect the Darius to be banned away here?
I think it will be banned away second rotation, not first, if they ban it away. They actually could go for, but I don't think it's smart. Like, now a BLE has to counter pick. So yeah, they could pick Darius in like round 3 and be like, yeah, we just love Darius. We can just pick it and I don't care. I'm going to win anyway. But I don't think that would work out that well for the side of SLM. So I don't know. I think they're going to ban it second rotation. Or maybe they'll just stick to the other bans. They banned the exact same, both teams, this game as well. So maybe they're just going to slam the exact same bans in round 2 as well. And yeah, SLM taking the Jarvan.
It would be really exciting if we just have the same bans, same picks, and just the exact same game to game number 1. But so far, like you said, Jarvan first pick as well. I feel like this time around, we might not see a Silver necessarily on the side of SlimOdds. And so far, it is gonna be them who did get the Silver last game, did get the Darius last game, ended up winning with it as well. So far, the draft is exactly the same. Nautilus, Makai, Zaya, these things are still open. Poppy is a good answer to the Jarvan.
I like this. This is a good one, yeah. Good answer to the Jarvan. Still a very strong jungler. And I would not be surprised in a pickup. I think Fabian looked pretty comfortable in Nautilus. I would not be surprised to see him pick it up here either. Although it could walk into the Braum counter pick, so you can wait.
Yeah, definitely so. And already looking in the jungler early on the side of SlimOdds with it being the Jarvan, like we said, Poppy, a good response to that. Things like Zaya, things like Nautilus, like you said it yourself, are still open. Things like the Braum, you know, a very high win rate in SLE, another Braum game in the bag for the boy, but it is going to be the Nautilus locked in here for the side of Black Lotus.
So we have to predict the SLM winning now because they're going to pick Braum, the counter pick into Nautilus, or what?
Yeah,
Surely.
Surely it's the Braum here, right? Like, Braum has such a high win rate, you just can't... You know, we were talking about this a little bit during the break, but there you go.
There you go. He's gonna pick the Braum. I mean, Braum makes perfect sense here. Braum, really good into Nautilus. It just makes laning a lot safer. It's not perfect, but it's strong. And Braum, good laner, good passive. They could even try to go for Braum Kog'Maw here. They have a strong early game jungler to back them up in the laning. And Kog'Maw scales like, scales very good.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Kai'Sa here either, honestly. With the Jarvan, with the Braum, I feel like against the Nautilus as well has the opportunity to build Zonias if you sort of need the survivability. Against the potential dive comp that could be coming out Black Lotus, Poppy and Nautilus are heading in towards that direction, that they are going to have a lot of dive, a lot of engage, but it's going to be Talia pick up here for the side of SlimOdds.
I don't really like Talia, to be honest. I feel like, yeah, this allows Gleambox to just go Syndra, which seems to be a comfort pick here. And I don't think G&E did a ton on Talia last game. I didn't see a single Talia wall last game, so I'm hoping to see more in this game if he's gonna lock it in again, like more proactivity towards the bot side, especially if you have like a timed flash on someone that doesn't have a dash, just walling them in, basically free. But yeah, let's see. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're gonna lock in the Syndra.
Should be the Syndra picked up, but like I said, Gloomy to me was one of the shining lights that was on the side of Black Lotus. I feel like he played really well in that game number 1, especially on the Syndra, so not at all surprised to see that being picked up. I wouldn't be surprised to see same bans heading towards the top side from the side of Black Lotus, with it being the Jace, the Darius, and the Aatrox.
MF ban. I like that actually. They did play MF, I think, in another game. They don't really have the Vombo set up, but they do ban the Darius. Small adjustment. Small adjustment.
Yeah. But this does leave the Aatrox open. So, is it gonna be SlimOdds opting for the Aatrox? Instead, Aatrox being very good at the moment, as well Iron Hover at the moment for the side of Black Lotus. But do you expect the Aatrox?
I would not be surprised, but if he does pick Aatrox, I hope Missing Link slams something spicy like Fior or something.
Is this just a repeat of game 1? Are we just watching a replay of...
We're watching BLE draft Sivir the right way in the opposite manner. Is it Vayne top? No, it's Vayne bot.
No, they're not gonna look in Vayne. No, they're not. No. This is gonna be a Vayne bait. They're baiting you into the Vayne.
I mean, Zaya would make a ton of sense here.
Yeah, they're gonna
Zaya
stop you into the Zaya, 100%.
Zaya makes a ton of sense. Saya, one of the few AD carries you can't ult as a not, just feather falls out and you're sad when you watch. So then they have to switch target, and Talia's gonna be the sad one instead. But yeah.
Oh my god.
Hey, look at him! Woo! And Batrox! Okay, give me Fiora
Okay,
counterpick. Give me like Fiora counterpick. Give me Fiora
This is
counterpick.
so pog.
Fiora counterpick. Or something
No,
else. Something super spicy.
Nah, but they're not gonna do the Fiora would make sense.
Do Fiora! Do oh no, Fiora! This is what do you mean? No, give it the Fiora. What is this?
No, they're not gonna do it. It would make sense.
They're gonna hover Briar now and look Fiora, I promise.
Nah, they're not gonna look with Fiora.
Oh, okay, Kled is a good one. Kled is good actually. Kled is a good counterpick. I will accept the Kled.
I mean,
No, I'll take the Kled.
This cleanse fine, but
I'll take what I can get. No, the Fury shenanigans.
Dude, I personally despise you for telling them not to look in the Fury. The
Yeah,
Fury
but
would
the
be so
Fury,
hyped.
I don't know.
It would be so hyped though.
Yeah, but I want a 1-1. The Fury into Atrox sounds horrible.
But I want to see a Fury on a SLE stage.
Well, then you should have picked Vayne top of the side SLM. What do you mean?
But you really want to pick. You want to be really known as the guy who picked Vayne top in a SLE game.
Of course, dude. I'll happily take that. I can do it. I can sub out.
Do
All
you
good.
want the title? Do you want the title?
Dude, Vayne. Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
Devil's
yeah.
advocate here. There's a lot of range tops. Nobody
Yeah.
respects a Quinn, but a Vayne top, you gotta be a little bit fancy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's fine.
So what you're telling me, right? You would respect a Vayne more than you would a Quinn.
Definitely, 100%. All day.
Why? What? Why?
Quinn is a free elo. You press E on person. You do the Prowler's Claw combo. You're like, dude. Quinn, much freer champion than Vayne. Much.
Nah. Well, I mean, range top is still range top, no? It's all the same.
No, it's not all the same.
Nah, it's all the same.
No,
What?
it's not all the same. It's not all the same. We're gonna go
Nah.
in and say Graves top is like a sin as well now. It's an ADC. I mean,
Yes.
he can... What do you want?
Yes.
There's no
No,
way. Graves top is
no.
fine.
It has a lot more to do with the range. I would accept
Graves is a
someone like
shotgun.
no, but I would accept someone like a Samira or an Isla in the top lane, even though they're ranged.
Okay,
just
if I
because yeah, it's an AD carry, but it's really short range, right?
Trinity
Range
is
falls all
basically
over
range now.
category.
Trinity is basically range now. Is this also a sin? I mean, it's always been a
Okay.
sin, I guess. It's whatever, but
I understand they gave him like 50 more range, but that doesn't no. That
okay,
doesn't
listen
matter.
up. It's 175. It gets lethal temp. It's a 225. It's longer range than a Rakan almost. Basically,
Okay, well,
range.
are we counting runes now?
Of course we are.
Nah, what?
What do you mean we're not counting runes? It makes a
You
big
can't
difference.
you can't account runes.
I count the runes.
I mean,
I'm-
in that sense, if you take Samira with lethal tempo, it becomes the same thing.
I'll do anything to gaslight you into thinking that it's fine.
I've noticed. Like even
Vayne top
because-
like Vayne is
No, you
Vayne is
get
an
like
honorable
nothing.
champion. Vayne is an honorable champion.
No.
Vayne is an honorable champion.
No, it's an honorable champion in the bot lane. In the bot lane, I respect it. If it wanders out of the bot lane, I no longer respect it.
Dude, I like a lot of I know a lot of top lane. And they complain about Vayne, but they complain a lot more about other picks. For example, Aatrox. A lot more. And Cassandra. Dude, melee tops that are busted are way more obnoxious than a Vayne.
No. Okay. Well. Okay. I agree, but I respect a melee top a hell of a lot more than I do a range top, even if it is something broken like Aatrox or Darius. You know.
Even if it is Cassandra.
Okay, but
Okay,
Cassandra-
let's agree on this. Cassandra top, then Vayne. No. Cassandra top, then Quinn, then Vayne. Agree?
Okay, fine.
Okay, we're finding a middle ground here. Let's get back to the game. Who do you think won the draft in this game where we don't have a Vayne top? I think Vayne is gonna have a really hard time this game, to be honest. I think Nautilt short range on the Vayne. You go Nautilt on her, you get similar combo. You can also just press R. Should be good unless the Braum is like God himself. Like Braum has to be like the most on-point block on the Syndrome, and then maybe she lives. Maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be really good communication out of SlimOdds because, like you said, Vayne really short range into a Nautilus, into a
And a
Syndra,
Poppy,
into
and
a
a Poppy.
Poppy. Like
Yeah, you press W, you can't move. Have fun.
yeah, it's so hard to play. Braum is gonna have to be on top of his game on the side of SlimOdds to make sure that the AD carry does end up living. And General Decoy obviously did do pretty well in game number 1, so I wouldn't expect him to fall off in game number 2 any more than he did in the first game. But which draft do you favor? I'm hearing Black Lotus Esports, but are you gonna lean that way, or do you think SlimOdds have a better draft here?
Like, I think draft-wise, I don't think SLM is bad, purely draft sense. Jarvan's strong. They have like a lot of strong picks, I would say. Natrox's also good. I would say it's like kind of even for me, draft-wise. I don't think it's like super hard leaning because both teams have strong X Factor picks that could really factor in. And I mean, Poppy versus Jarvan early game, I just think Jarvan is really strong, even if it's like a kind of counter matchup. Jarvan's just extremely strong right now. So I would say draft's kind of even, but I do expect that due to there being more of a dynamic in top lane, it's really gonna come down to who comes out on top in top lane. And Missing Link does have the counter pick, so I'm hoping to see him come out on top. And if he does, I think BLE is gonna take it. I'm sticking to my guns.
So you're gonna say BLE?
Definitely.
Are you only doing this because you predicted a 1-1?
No. I think Missing Link has what it takes to match up against him in top lane, and if he doesn't get to run over an entire team on his own, I think BLE played better the last game.
Yeah, I feel like I do agree to a certain extent. Missing Link is also one of the players in SLE that is more proficient on these melee bruiser fighter-esque top laners, things like the Kled, the Renekton, things like the Aatrox, for example, and does tend to be very proficient on these. So I would expect the top side to sort of be favored towards Black Lotus and towards Missing Link. But I expect jungle attention from both teams to be topside about 99% of the game. Maybe that 1% spills over to bot lane, spills over to mid lane, but top lane definitely going to be the focus for both teams.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. It's going to be bloody in top lane. It's going to be one hell of a fight, I feel like. But yeah, it's... I don't remember the Kled matchup. Like, I don't play top much, and I haven't played Kled like almost ever. But he has the healing reduction on the Q. I don't know how, like, at what stage in the game that comes into play, because I mean, level 1 Datrix doesn't really have any lifesteal, I would assume. So it's like he's not really, he has it, but it's not like big. So if it's like the healing reduction gets bigger the longer the lane goes. I'm not exactly sure like when the Kled matchup hits in these type of lanes.
So from my understanding, I favor myself more towards the bot lane than the top lane. Top lanes are too toxic of a role for me to play. But nonetheless, I feel like, at least from what I know, it tends to be Kled favored up until level 6. And if there's no sort of substantial leads, if it is pretty even, that's the point where Aatrox does become stronger, just because Kled has less of a fight ultimate and more so I'm gonna run over the map and just run over your team instead of you ultimate. So I would expect pre-6 for it to go towards the Kled, but after 6 should be going for the Aatrox if, like I said, there's no early kills, if there's no substantial leads for either top laner, and it should be, like you said, a very bloody matchup up towards the top lane, and I expect for most of the play for both of these teams to go through that lane.
Okay. I will have to see how the early game shapes out, but I gotta get this right. You're a bot lane and you hate Vayne. That makes no sense to me.
Yes, I'm an ADC / Zarya one trick, whatever you want to call it, and no. Okay, see, you misunderstood.
You
I
misunderstood.
I don't have an issue with Vayne in the bot lane. I have an issue with Vayne in the top lane. In the bot lane, it's whatever.
But it's like, nobody in top, like for a long time, has respected Darius, and Vayne is like the one counterpick to Darius, and that's like, oh, okay, it's like a sleep.
Okay, but people no. But then again, right? People who play Darius potentially, I'm not gonna say they do, but potentially deserve the Vayne matchup, because they locked in Darius.
Yes.
Like it takes you a certain type
Vayne
of person.
Vayne is like Batman. The righteous crusader of the top lane, smiting all the Darius mains.
It's like Indiana Jones.
He takes she takes like the bad chalice, and she's the one.
Is that what Vayne tops are? They're just heroes of League?
Yes, they're Batman.
Is this where not all heroes wear capes come from?
Quinn tops are like the Jokers. I promise you. Oh, Fabian, let's see. Go for the hook. No hook.
Nah, he's not gonna. Dredge line not coming out. 100%. Seeing no action so far in the level 1, but I wouldn't expect any, as both of these teams aren't that strong in the level 1. And you can see Missing Link already might be looking for some early damage, but not gonna be able to find it, as we have a recall on the top lane, and Bannerex just showing off his recall animation to the rest of the stream as well, making sure that we noticed what skin he has on.
Very important, very important. Skin synergy extremely high here. We can see Fabian, he's a true faker enjoyer, no skin. He's keeping it solid here. He's gonna hit every skill shot, juke everything. Be the unkillable Demon King.
So basically you are Nautilus.
Not non-biased streamer, a caster.
No.
But he did hit some good hooks, and he's up against Vayne this time, so no spell shield, no freebie pass for the side of Stoosh. So I am excited to see a bit of bot action. But I mean, it's just that Sivir is a pick that's, yeah, I don't know. Both the picks are like, they don't deal a ton of damage early game. So I will have to see.
Both of the picks are sort of just sit there and farm and say GG. You know,
I don't understand the random hype for the Sivir pick, to be honest. But I guess they did ban out a bit of ADCs this time. They did ban Ezreal, Saya, and I think Ashe this time. So
yeah, there's a lot of AD carry bans coming through, at least in draft of game 2, and I'm not entirely convinced on the Sivir pick this time. It is gonna be for Black Lotus. So maybe what happened is they saw it win game 1. They were like, this is OP, and we're just gonna pick it up this time instead. You know?
I guess it makes sense, yeah. And by the way, it's interesting to say because we expected there to be a lot of action top lane, but actually both junglers pathing towards bot there. And oh my god, Fabian's just walking up, no fear. Will they actually win this? I don't know if they win this. Both ghosts going out there, just running around. No autos though. Fabian takes no damage, being the one walking up. Okay. They traded everything. Or not everything, but that was an interesting dynamic. They walked up, they ghosted on the side, and then they put Brahmi on the other side, ghosted and ran away. And Oxyconny is actually coming in here for the quick gank.
I mean, yeah, no ghost
It's
on
already
Stoosh.
going, no vision actually, and they have the hook. This could be a kill very quickly here in bot lane. And they have the, oh, he has the hook range right now. He's in range of decoy. Anyone? Hook it?
Oh, they fucking in.
He hits it in the minions, but it's decoy and he has the E.
No.
Oh, Oxyconny is, oh my god, he's gonna go for it! And he flashes out. I should have outed. Why did he flash out? He was massively dead. No, not like this. It could have been a decent play because Vayne would have lost the entire wave. But now it's just a tragedy.
It would have, like you said, been
Jarvan is
so
here.
good.
They're not fighting. They're respecting the Sivir Nautilus being, I don't know, they were free
Oh my god.
too.
So how is it that there's an Aatrox Kled matchup in the top lane, a Sivir Vayne in the bot lane, still bot lanes where all
Why
the
they're still
action?
fighting? They know Jarvan is here. This is still a free V2. What is going on here? Braum passive coming through. They could flash with his kill.
Wait, red buff.
What is? Whoa! Okay, Fabian is actually the best player. He blocked the E with his body. Somehow. It's actually Braum. Confirmed Braum.
And I'm a little bit surprised to see all these.
Oh, the guy coming in, but there's no room to talk here. Pop is coming in, she doesn't have flash, she doesn't care. There's a jungler. Is he gonna EQ? She is out. Respectable decision. We're not gonna die in at least 15 seconds at least. Top lane having action on Banrex is looking very frisky in this counter lane. Although he has lost a bit of CS, but the laning situation is looking a bit dire for Missing Link to say the least.
Yeah, does need to be a little bit careful. We do have Oxy on the top side, so it does mean that he should be relatively safe from any dives, but I'm lost for words on the fact that bot lane play ends up being with only 2 kills.
The flash! And that's a big bait. He's gonna get the mount up! No, he doesn't get the mount up! It's a disaster again. They lose the wave.
Oh my god.
Oh no, there's no mount up. He wanted it so bad. Why didn't Oxyconny just walk up and acquire 300 gold as well?
Oh, Carl just.
Oxyconny was on
betrayed
Krugs. Oxyconny was on Krugs. They could have walked up and get the poppy gank. He doesn't have to risk his life. Oh, this. I like the plays. I like the adrenaline. Haven't worked out for the side of BLE, but I like the adrenaline. I like it.
I mean, yeah, it hasn't worked out for BLE, but I like where the mentality is at, you know? I like where they're trying to go with it. Exactly. They're just, creating hype, and that's exactly what we're here for. Like you said, Oxy could have probably had an influence up towards that top lane, but so far it does end up being Bannerex with the solo kill. A couple of CS missed for Missing Link as well, but he's gonna sort of still be ahead by 12, which I'm a little bit surprised about.
Ooh, yeah, and I mean, he did have a massive wave, and I think the death timer is not long enough that he had time to TP back. He probably missed. The important part is he's missing the experience. Experience in solo lanes a very big deal. Level ups give a lot of stats, and since you mentioned this matchup should be like pre-6, very important, it does not feel good for a Kled if he's going down like this. And GloomyX, no mana. Jarvan is looking towards mid, but yeah, they're backing up. It's all good. And GloomyX is actually performing quite well in this mid lane.
So far, yeah, does seem to be a little bit down on CS, but should be able to get that CS back in a moment, as he's pretty sure he's gonna TP back.
And here you can see, by the way, that he's purely a Darius main, because he loves sitting in bushes for about 50% of the game. And here the Jarvan EQ comes in. Onto Nautilus though, not the ideal target, and Poppy is here. No EQ on Jarvan. I think they should focus the Jarvan right now, hitting on the Braum with the E-shield, and Vayne gets to auto for free as well. A bit of an awkward fight there, not really the same targets. I feel like everyone hit the single person, so... Oh, and the stun of the GloomyX. Trying to pressure Genie off of this wave. She's losing XP right now here.
Ooh, Gloomy definitely seems to be pretty adept on the
Oh, and the Jarvan could be caught here. Does she have the E? Flash out, Brady D, respect. Oh, there's walking up into the Talia. I don't know about that one, but...
they're fine.
Ooh, it could be in trouble here. Poppy damage. Ulti? No ulti, it's level 5. Auto? Okay.
That damage!
It's a Dark Harvest Poppy, so maybe we get to see the Spicy Lethality build.
Wait, but he does have Sheen. So he has the... probably gonna be back in there. See, Hacks, they haven't stepped as much into the kitchen as you have.
I don't even know. I feel like I live in the kitchen by this point. Oh, and the Braum shield can't get to the Vayne here. Fabian is gonna go down. Poppy is on the play though, and I mean, Stoosh is low. Does she have... Hey, they do have flashback on Poppy right about in 2 seconds. No ulti. Silver's hitting, but nobody's dying. And GloomyX with the flash EQ do pick up another one on General Decoy. That does pick up 2 for 2, but Talia, first wall we've seen the entire series. Fancy feat on GloomyX. Silver's still hitting people, and still nobody's dying because she has no damage.
Oh my god.
Imagine if Silver was any character but Silver.
I mean, yeah, there's just no damage coming out of Flu at the moment. He's autoing all he can, but there's just no damage coming out. Stoosh did pretty well to try avoid Oxy as long as he could. I feel like Brady could have walked up a little bit here, tried to zone him a little bit earlier, but it does end up being a good W coming out of Oxy, which means they end up picking Stoosh early on, and with Gloomy being here, it does end up being an outnumbered fight at the end for the side of SlimOdds, which means they are gonna be the ones who become at a disadvantage after.
Wait, what happened to the dragon? Oxyconny had it at half HP, no?
Wait.
Did they cancel it? Before the week, I'm pretty sure he was on it, no?
I don't think so.
No, okay. I'm losing my mind in this game. It's not having Brahmi, and I don't even know what's going on anymore.
It's because you're too busy focusing on the Nautilus. You're just staring at the Nautilus.
It's not even the Nautilus, it's the Vayne E block somehow that misses the kill onto blue VD.
Fabian's looking. Hex Flash.
He's looking, but I mean, this is the Braum.
Ooh.
Even if he gets that, I don't think they get the Braum, and no ulti on Fabian yet. If he does have the ulti, he can chain CC the Vayne while locking down the Braum. But yeah, maybe it's about to hit 6 though. He could be about to hit 6 here off a minion. Very close,
Maybe,
I think.
but Oxy is here, which means he's gonna be sharing XP.
Yeah, I don't find the timing.
Yeah, I don't think that the timing. But if they smell this onside of SlimOdds,
yeah, there it is. Just a few minions off there from the level 6 on Fabian.
That is so unfortunate. If he had that 6, there would have definitely been some action, definitely potential kills for the side of Black Lotus Esports, and Herald is still up. So I feel like Oxy doesn't want to spend too much time towards this bot lane. The main objective is towards that top lane. Is warded by both teams, so if either team started, they will be known. But Gloomy could be working for Cataclysm here.
Doesn't have vision on the Gloomy though.
They smell
They suspect the red ward.
They smell
pretty good red ward. Annoying to clear.
Definitely so. They're looking.
And they're trying to bait. Oh, and they see the vision go onto Ginny. And Poppy's there to cover for the Jarvan engage. They're just going in. No care. Kled is here. He can slam the ulti right now. The ulti's gonna come in, but a lot of damage from the Aatrox here. Gloomy is stuck in the Jarvan ult. They're gonna trade backlines. Flash from Genie saves though.
That's gonna be
It's
two
a
kills for
bit
Vanarax though.
awkward, yeah. The Cataclysm for Brady D, locking down Gloomy in the afterlife.
And with Brady dying as well, he couldn't cancel it, which means Gloomy was just stuck inside. And we're gonna take a look at the replay as well to see exactly what happened in a
Oh, they're
moment
fighting in bot
after
lane. Here we
fighting
go.
bot lane. But yeah, it was just a complete
Here
sort
we
of
go.
stopping from the
But
side
they're
of
getting
SlimOdds,
good
and
damage down into Genie. I feel like if this could clean it up onto the Talia here, that would be good. But Oxyconio, I feel like a little bit early on to disengage here.
yeah,
It's gonna take a lot of damage from the Aatrox, the EQ and everything.
Cataclysm was huge.
Cataclysm is very big. And I do think actually Banrex did pop the flash to get into the Cataclysm there, so.
Yeah, I mean, ends up having to flash inside, still picks up 2 kills, and Vanarax being 3-0 with a Gore Drinker, this is hacks what we saw last game with him. Saw him get a little bit of an early lead, and he sort of ran away with it. So do you think it's gonna be another game 2 of game 1, or how do you think it's gonna go?
Aatrox not quite the same run over factor as Darius, so I'm not sold yet. I think it's still quite open, and it's only like around a 700 overall gold lead for the side of SLM right now. So not yet, but I mean he definitely still is showing that he can play these champs and he doesn't care about the counters. Gloomy pathing up even. I don't know. That's a bit greedy right there. EQ, no Cataclysm yet. It just about came off cooldown there. And Gloomy playing with fire here. With Fabian is here as well. Does he have the flash? I feel like Nautilus could flash Q here, right here. There it is, but he misses it, and the Poppy comes in though, and it's cleaned up anyway. Missed the hook, press R. Oh, and he's looking for Cataclysm just out of range. No! He could have just walked. He could have just ran.
Unfortunately, slows himself with the Poppy ultimate, and I like how you as a Nautilus player can just see, you have the same mindset, you know what he's about to do. Flash Q coming out, yeah, there it is.
He just wanted to go in, you know, it's just, you just gotta go. You just gotta run.
It was, what happened was it was a zoning Q to get Ginny to sidestep to the right, sorry, which meant that Oxy could just bonk him against the wall. That was the big play, and meanwhile in the bot lanes, Tush is just slowly trying to get his farm back up, but they could potentially go for a win here.
Could, yeah, and I mean, Blue BD is actually picking up plates here in this bot lane due to the roaming, and I mean, I'm not really sure how the I mean, he's getting Pry on the way, but I feel like Vayne could all in a Sivir, but he does have an item up right now. And this gank, I don't know, there is 4 people here from side. Oh, did Kled ult? Oh, in the top lane. He's gonna get the mount up. That should be good for Kled, and he gets the shutdown. 600 gold, missing link.
Whoa.
Maybe this matchup actually gets going later on. Maybe we have misread the situation here. There's 4 people in the bot lane. There's about to be another battle. Hook into the Braum though. Very good Poppy W, stopping Jarvan EQ. Vayne is getting 3 hits in right now though, and that's a lot of damage coming out. Blue BD 1 off on the Braum passive. Oxyconio is gonna go down. Vayne passive, Braum passive fades out. Does not get the stun. Tallywall coming in. Can Gloomy help his ADC? No.
Oh my god.
And the Vayne show, and the ult comes in though. Braum not there. General decoy bit out of range for the E. And Gloomy could actually 2v1 this.
He has the tools to play this out.
Yeah, if he waits for the E, he can easily kill General Decoy. QE right here. It's a W. Q again. Then to the Leandris. Sidesteps the W. Gloomy outplaying. Gets the ping in the chat. Fancy feet. We misread the situation. It's actually Gloomy that's faker.
Wait a minute. If you take some letters out from Gloomy and put some more in, you can spell faker.
There's not a single thing in Gloomy that's well, no, there's not a single one. Shove goes down to Fabian. Popfield sends them back to base. Dragon goes over. 2 dragons on the side.
If you take some letters in, put some letters out, you know, you can spell faker with that, but it is gonna be a dragon. Picked up a second dragon for instead of Black Lotus with a Mountain Soul in the cards, but Vanarax is playing very aggressive for nothing a top tier 1 tower to play behind.
Man, I'm excited to see the top matchup here. I've never seen a Dirk onto a Kled, actually. I haven't played Kled in like years, but I don't remember lethality Dirk being a thing you usually build onto the Kled. I feel like it should be a black. Oh, the Nautilus!
Oh, no.
That's the stun, and that's death. Vayne being very sad, as we predicted in the early game. or before in the draft. It's tough. You can't dodge a Nautilus.
Might be tough for Fabian.
Fabian's gonna go down here though, just walking into no vision, or he's alive somehow. Damage is down to Ginny, and Poppy gets the flash out. EQ hitting, missing, TP from Gloomy. A lot of damage from Sivir here. And Gloomy cleaning Talia on the side. EQ coming in, it's a bad fight. Looking here for Slim, Bridge D trying to EQ out. Blue BD, don't want to let him. Oh, the EQ! Almost gets it. Gloomy is about to clean this though. I don't see any way Brady D does not do this. Oh, but does he get to execute? I think it goes over as a kill. Yeah.
Ooh. Good pickup there.
Like the proactive play here to dive the Vayne. She's been sitting alone on bot all this time. And then Fabian just gets a bit, he wants to get vision here, I assume, dupe vision, but just walks to the entire team on the side of SLM. But Ginny, very low here in this fight for coming, and gets even lower from the Sivir. And Sivir has no pressure. They're just engaging onto Oxyconian. They can't take him down. And yeah, Talia walks into the Syndra, which is a bit unfortunate.
The TP was really good there from Gloomy, ends up getting himself back into that bot lane fight. And speaking a little bit about the Serrated Dirk on the Kled, I would assume that is gonna go towards Eclipse. That is generally what we've seen Kled built. And it has been the mythic of choice, especially with how good Eclipse is at the moment. Aatrox this time not opting for going for the Gore Drinker instead, which I would assume is because he's playing on grouping and team fighting a lot more. Obviously, Eclipse was something that was built on Aatrox for a couple of patches, but after it got nerfed a little bit, we haven't seen it that much. Have been moving more towards the more bruiser sort of Aatrox, the more Gore Drinker Aatrox, and I would expect for that second item for Missing
outside here, Darvin could be in trouble. Close hook missing, but there's no tower and there's 4 people here. They want to convert the Aatrox that's over pushed here. There's no way out for Bannerex, but can the team rotate? The TP's coming in. There's gonna be a lot of people. They want to force the issue here, and it's Talia on the TP, so she's in a very bad position here. Poppy ult should clean up Genie. Kled ult, they clean up the Jarvan as well. Can Oxy survive from Bannerex? The jukes, the shove. Oh, Oxyconian does go down, unfortunately, but they will clean the Aatrox here. And this should be, I think, Baron is too far off. 2 minutes, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a good play from BLE, showing that they can play the map much better. The Aatrox caught overextended. And this SLM kind of panicking with the TP there. I mean, Talia in the middle of 5 people, it's not a good position for Talia.
It's a good response, although I feel like Fabian did, like you said, go a little bit early. Does end up burning the death charge very early on, which doesn't get anything accomplished. It does end up being an outnumbered fight for the side of SlimOdds, which does mean just run them over entirely. Bannerex ultimate does end up timing out before he can really get anything done with his World Ender, not giving any value towards Bannerex there. And with that being said, they end up picking up the kill, and so far it has been Black Lotus with the sort of, like you said, it has been them with the proactive gameplay, and so far it has been SlimOdds who have been on the reactive side of things. With the TP we saw from Glumo onto the bot lane was another reactive play. So I would like to see potentially SlimOdds try to...
They're coming in here though, and this Rift Trail is about to time out. They want to clean it up, but it does go down. Poppy W is huge. The hook missing though. And TP's coming in, it's probably Gloomy. And they're 5 right now. I don't know, it's already a 4v5. This is looking kind of rough. Brady D going in, it's now a free. Oh, the Fabian is alive. And he can look for another hook here. Oh, hook on the Aatrox goes in. And Missing Link just slaughtering the backline. Going deep and winning everything. And Sivir just stays alive, dishing out damage. Now it's a Baron. 7 seconds.
Should be a Baron angle coming through. Bannerex is just struggling so hard.
Why did this fight go so bad? The hook misses.
It's Gloomix. It's just Gloomix. Just look at the damage. The Syndra is outputting. Bannerex full HP.
Oh yeah.
Ends up
the
getting
W hits all of them almost in Q.
And Bannerex just can't play.
And here, yeah, Missing Link just wants to clean it up. No E on the Vayne though, or? Already used it, I assume. I feel like with E on the Vayne it could have been different.
I don't think it was up, at least from what I saw. But there is, like I said earlier, there's the Eclipse coming through for Missing Link. It is going to be Dragon started up here, and we'll see if Brady D has something to say about this.
It's gonna be a jungler showdown, jungle mid showdown, but the side of SLM is all actually earlier here than the side of BLE. They should be backing out here, I feel like, and not stress the issue. They have no reason to stress the issue here with Baron as well. They could even let go of this. Oh, Brady G jumping into the pit. Banrex trying to force the issue onto Gloomyux. Gonna get the pull, but they can't follow up on it. They're going for the dragon here. I don't think it's good. They do get it, but the fight is not looking good. They should be disengaging here. Good Nautilus ult. Hook onto Banrex. Does go down. Everyone's in the pit. Vayne is alive, but she doesn't deal enough damage. And the Sivir is actually huge. Oh, the flash for flash. Ginny gonna clean up Oxycone, and he does get it. The blast cone. What? Oxycone with the nose to jungle lives in it. Blast cone. Oh, and does Gloomy. Stoosh is probably out here. That could have been a disaster from inside of BLE. I feel like they're really stressing the dragon here. They have no reason to try and stress the dragon. One guy is out of the fight. They should be just focusing on the fight here.
Can we check if Blue has a PhD somewhere? Because that was a 700 IQ play. It ends up being Gloomy who just outputs so much damage. But look at the back end of this fight. Blue ends up popping Oxy over the wall.
Dude, that's a beautiful play from Oxycone. Flashes into bush to break vision from Vayne. She cues backwards because she thinks it's going to flash onto him.
Oh my
Oxycone
god.
playing that fight. Very, very neat. Very neat. But yeah, I think it's actually the Sivir right now that's... Oh, and the Magi's BM coming out of Gloomy. No fear.
I mean, is it really BM if you have 10 stacks?
Yes, it's always BM. You can't argue.
What? No. What? He's just doing a little bit of reading. He's trying to get smart. You know, it's a lot of damage out there.
No, he's the guy with the glasses who's reading, and he thinks he's smarter. He already knows he's smarter.
Is he the guy who goes, well, actually?
Yeah, well, actually, I have 10 Magi's, so I'm faster than you right now.
Well, actually, it does end up being him who is with the Magi's on only one item for the moment. Like you said,
Brady D,
damage,
W from Poppy here. Oh, Fabio not looking for it. They just want to convert with the Baron here and not risk anything. They also have pressure down the bot side, so someone has to handle the Kled. I don't think it's the Vayne that's gonna be able to do it on its own.
Well, so far it is, but I assume missing link is that, like you said, trying to output pressure. The main objective is to
moving up here. He could look for the ulti. Oxycone is also there, but they just take the tower again now.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna look to convert mid now in the same fashion. Oh, and Oxycone, that's a dangerous path. He just runs through the W. Oxycone with no fear. Just run, no flash. He would be very dead if they get the shove.
It's Deadman's. He's so fast with Deadman's and W.
He's already dead on his going in again. He does proc his Deadman's now, so maybe he's more alive.
No, he's fast again. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. BLE take the reset. It's a bit early, but they want to set up for the drag here. 2 minutes. The Baron will be up as well, but it's a bit later, so the trade can't really happen unless they really stall out the dragon fight from mid side.
Yeah, and I mean, the elephant in the room that we have been sort of ignoring is this 10k gold lead on the side of Black Lotus Esports. It's 2 items. For Gloomy, it's 3 items. For Blue, all of them are up in items for their respective laners, except the jungle. It is dead even. At the moment, if we can take a look at the gold as well quickly, I just want to see the jungle matchup if it's...
huge Sivir.
It's a 2k gold lead for the Poppy, but...
Sivir, 13k. I was joking about Sivir not dealing any damage in the early game, but right now it's the opposite story. She's gonna decimate the whole team with 1 auto attack.
W just bouncing between everybody.
Yes.
Although, I do feel like the skin that he has reduces his damage by a little bit. I feel like Pizza Sivir just outputs like 5% more damage.
What a sneaky cosplay.
Man, I'm sneaky. Actually, I'm sneaky.
Damn.
The GOAT.
C9, the GOAT to the NA team. Now NA has no chance to win Worlds, unfortunately. Forever lost 1 spot to Worlds. It's a shame. We gotta bring back Meteos high. Oh, and the Oxycone has to stand W here. He can't escape. No escape. Oh, no W.
Okay.
Didn't have it. Hook coming in. No, depth charge going in. I like the depth charge, but it does EQ perfectly. Still gonna go down. Indeed, he's gonna go down. There's no saving from Ginny or General Decoy. Oh, and fighting in top of the Kled looking really good here. Just beating up on this tower dive. Dodging the Q. Cleaning it up. Can they get the Talia wall to try and secure the Kled at least? Oh, it just mounts up and runs away. Hee
does just end up getting out, picks himself up a kill alongside that. And Venerex wasn't he the one who was 3-0 with the early kills
It
on the
was
side
like
of
a
SlimOdds?
3-1-0 against a 1-1-0 Kledia. So I'm assuming this matchup is actually coming through a bit later. I don't remember the matchup, and I have almost never played it, but I guess it's when they get World Ender in the left. Oh, Lewis just walking up. Oh, the flash onto Ginny. The ulti
Oh my
flashing
god.
through the Broly in the studio. Will Fabio be able to save them? He doesn't care. He says now.
What?
And Glue the stoosh with the flash. This has to be a kill. Okay. Now this is turning out to be one heck of a game, man. They're just going Gloomy with Magice. Dude, Gloomy had a Magice. Flashes through Braum shield to get the ulti. Just to get the ulti down on Ginny. Trying to assert dominance in mid lane. Gives up an entire shutdown to Vayne. Actually very bad for the side of the elite.
It's very bad, but I feel like it's such a mental gap for Ginny that it's worth.
It's definitely a mental gap.
Flashing onto the enemy mid is always worth it if you can get the kill, I feel like, because you just, like you said, asserting your dominance. I feel like when it comes to the 1v1 in the top lane matchup, it is the hull breaker that's making the biggest difference at the moment. Missing Link opting for the split push build instead just gets those extra stats for himself, and I'm not at all surprised with how ahead he is.
Oxycode, they're gonna look for it here. Maybe the ulti from Kled to set it up. Ooh, the flash. Good respect flash there. And
But he goes back in.
yeah, but the bot lane is rotating over for red side right now, so they have to respect it. The Vayne would eat these two characters alive with the peel of Braum. But now BLE is actually moving into red side. Maybe they have to also be careful here now with the Vayne. But they should be looking towards Baron here.
Should be looking for Baron. Missing Link is creating a lot of pressure for himself along that bot side. Bannerix, no flash, no world ender means that challenging this Kled at the moment is extremely dangerous.
They're not looking for the Kled, they're looking for the Baron. They're already moving for it. Will they be able to clean up the Baron? It's gonna be a bit risky here. They won't be able to clean it up before the fight happens here. And the wall is coming through. I feel like they should have gone out earlier. Blue is the only one being scared, but he's in a perfect position over the wall. He's gonna clean Ginny on the side. No world ender, but Gloom is gonna go down, but Sivir is completely untouched in this fight. That should be easy cleanup. Banrex still alive, but...
Well, Missing Link against the game.
Yeah, missing against the game. They're gonna TP on it. Gloom is... I don't know. He's gotta get Baron in the game.
So much
They
damage.
didn't even need Missing Link. They're so confident he didn't even TP. He has TP. He didn't even care.
3-item Sivir is doing so much work.
Missing Link playing solo queue top right here. My team is bad, but actually good, but I'm just gonna stay top.
This is the top lane experience. This is exactly what we do. You just build Hull Breaker and you go bonk on the enemy nexus. It will be Black Lotus Esports who pick up game number 2, and Hacks, that was a hype of a game.
That was quite man, I still wanna see that bot lane replay where they flash E, the Nautilus flies, Sivir is like 2 HP, like a minion could kill her, like a caster minion could get the kill. I don't even know how she lives that.
Yeah, Okay, so what's your... I don't know how much you remember of the 2 games, but what's your favorite play of the day? Because I feel like we had a lot of funny moments.
I mean, my favorite... Well, the favorite play... I mean, the play, not player. Favorite play.
Yeah, favorite play, yeah. Like, favorite single play that came out of either of these 2 teams.
It has to be this game too, for sure.
Whether
Probably the strange team
drama.
fight that should... Yeah, probably the strange team fight that should go the way of SLM, and then Oxycone does the spookiest blast cone vision flash outplay, and they just win it out. And I'm like, yeah. That's probably the spiciest play in this series, I would say.
I definitely agree. I feel like Blue hitting the blast cone to bonk Oxy over to get the kill was so 700 IQ. It's so 7 head that I was so impressed with that. And that's definitely, I feel like, the best play we had. Well, maybe not the best play, but I feel like the funniest play we had today. But who would you say is
actually crazy?
Yeah,
it's actually a good play.
Who would you say is your MVP for game 2? I feel like it is a pretty obvious answer, but
I think technically it should go to Blue, but I'm actually gonna give it to Gloomy in this game. I feel like the pressure they got from mid was so good because Sivir doesn't do anything early game, and I mean they basically took over the early game with the mid pressure, and she did a 1v2. Yeah, I would have to give it to Gloomy this game.
Yeah, definitely. Gloomy, I feel like, played overall 2 Syndra games, 2 very good Syndra games. Very impressive. coming out from Gloomy, especially considering that this man, at least according to his OPGG, is at least like is silver 2, I believe, if I remember correctly. So definitely a good showing from him. Ends up the game number 2 on 8-3-17. And would you say that Gloomy for you is the player of the day, or would you give that title to someone else?
Oh, that's tough because the Darius game is truly a 1v5. Hmm.
Oh, you're gonna have to make up your mind.
Oh, I have to
I
think.
have a gun to your head.
I have a gun to my head. Okay, I'm gonna put it to Oxyconey or Blue for the Blastcon play. Both of them like share the 50-50 play of the day. That's actually the craziest thing though. Like performance-wise, yes, the MVP goes to Gloomy, but my player of the day is Oxyconey.
Ooh, interesting. How come?
It's the Blastcon play.
Just
The Poppy game overall, literally 3 minutes in, he's just like, I'm gonna flap this vein. I don't care. I'm going on a turret. I don't care. It's not engaging. I literally don't care. I'm going in him. And that's like literally the entire Poppy game. He's just like walking around doing whatever. Runs through Talia W. No cares. No, doesn't care at all. But nothing. It's like he's just living in his own Matrix world, just walking around. Nothing exists.
Oxy
Definitely my player,
yeah, he definitely put on quite the show. And I feel like you said, was a little bit in his own world, especially after the bot lane dive. I feel like he just put his headset on, turn on Spotify, put some loud music on, and was just grooving to his own groove. Type of
Dude,
thing. But I would.
Oh, it's crazy. I saw like a thing, I think at SLE chat, where like all junglers listen to EDM and hardcore. He probably put on the highest EDM he could, just wigging out. But sorry, I interrupted you, Dessa. What would be your player of this most interesting player, or how you formulate it?
No, I literally agree with everything you said. Like I feel like Gloomy is definitely the player of the day. My player of the day would go over to the Blastcon play. It's just such 7-head coming out from the side by Close Esports. But how and this means that your prediction of 1-1 comes true.
Really? Yes. BLE showing exactly what I want to see. Strong synergy team play, not the strongest lane phases. Gloomy getting solo killed and Banrex really trying to put down the law in top lane, but they show the synergy coming through, and the team play overall is looking very solid. So if they can just go into solo queue, duo queue, flex, hammer out the games, shape up some of these things, I think they're a pretty strong team.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we were talking about this on break off stream as well, that Black Lotus Esports are looking pretty strong, like as a 5-man unit. It's just, I feel like single mistakes coming out, not necessarily mistakes as a team, but just mechanical misplays and such from the side of Black Lotus Esports. But definitely a strong day for them. And like you said, a team we should be looking for when going forward with Split 5.
Oh, and they are actually, wait, let's see, they are 3-1. What is a team? Isn't like Jin or Jang also 3-1? No, wait, the 2-2 maybe? The 2-2. I wonder what team they will get matched with next. I'm very excited for the next game of BLE, to be honest, and also SLM. Like they're both showing interesting things. Like I would love to see SLM's top laner go up against someone like Ant or Sense, for example, and see how well he fares against these gods of the top lane in a sense.
Definitely. So top lane, I feel like for Black Lotus Esports is very strong. For them, we saw Missing Link put out a lot of damage, just put out a lot of hurt on the side of SlimOdds, but we're gonna have to see, as that's gonna be next week, week 3 of SLE. We're gonna see who they end up getting matched up against. But for now, that's gonna do us for today, and it does end up being a 1-for-1. So Hax's prediction comes through, and both teams end up taking a game for themselves. And for tomorrow, we do have another game. It is going to be Beast Team Esports versus Interstellar Aquila at 20 CEST. So make sure that you are here for that. Make sure to set it on your calendars as well if you do want to see that and that matchup go through. A very interesting matchup, at least in my opinion. We'll see who we end up getting on the desk for that one. But for now, that's going to wrap us up for today. And I wish everyone a good night, a good day, depending on where you're watching this from, and have a good day.